I don't know. My algorithms have definitely changed. But anyway, let me see where I'm at. Let's look at the number. Okay, so I've just come into the 12-minute mark overage, so I'm now in video 2. So I'm going to talk to y'all about what I originally brought up here. Just so cute. I like old movies. Like, it's weird how much I like old movies. This company is called Bond and Grace. It says, can't change. Why can't change be beautiful? And I wanted to show y'all the box because isn't this pretty? Tell her she has been most bounteous and our gratitude is extreme. It's a part of a book. And it's these old books and old writers that are classics, a lot of them. And this one in particular is. So it comes in this bag. I have not opened it and seen it yet. But it's beautiful with this cream, this kind of garden green. I love the movie The Secret Garden. But I don't mean the recent ones. I mean the original too. That it is a story. It is a heartbreaking story of bad parenting by rich people. You never really know what's wrong with a little girl's mother, but she doesn't, because the little girl is not a pretty little girl, she did not want her to come to any of her socialite parties. So the child was always in her bedroom. Well, they lived in India, and her father was always sick. Obviously, they were extremely wealthy. Cholera came around and wiped everybody out, literally. Even the people who were not killed by it, both her parents were killed by it. But even her, what's it called, Aya, which is like a nanny, they ran for the hills because if they had, she was very difficult because she was so spoiled. And honestly, she was a very pained child. And you learn that as you go in this story. But they go into the mountains, into the hills, literally, and leave her. So she's a child alone in a town. And the British, I guess, military comes through. They check on each people, make sure everybody's okay. Are the people dead? Did they make it? And it turns out she did not get cholera. And so she's literally alone in her little canopy, mosquito, material bed with her baby dolls, tons and tons and tons of baby dolls. You can tell that money was thrown at the child, but no time, no intimacy. And they're like, oh, poor little kid. She doesn't know that both her parents are dead. So long story short, she ends up going to live with her uncle. And he's got his own set of problems. He is a hunchback. He feels like his son will grow up to be a hunchback. And so he has also been a bad parent in that he's driven it into the child's head that you're going to be a hunchback. You should be sick. You won't make it to adulthood. So this guy lives in bed. And what you end up finding out is he's fine. It is such a touching story. And the actors in it are so good. They're child actors that are so believable. It's British. And the one where the little girl is a short-haired, kind of dusty blonde, and the one that has, where the little girl is long black hair, they're both such amazing little actors, and so are the boys in there. All the characters are very well developed. And in the end, I'll tell you, it ends up being a wonderful, feel-good movie in the end, whatever rendition you see of it. There's a little bit of differences depending on who interpreted the book. But The Secret Garden is a story of hope. And so what you get from this is hope. And so I got The Secret Garden book. Now what this is, it's an art novel. The writer of The Secret Garden is Frances Hodgson Burnett. And what's really great that Bond and Grace has gone in and done is they put artwork to each one of the pictures. Each one of the story chapters. So you get to see kind of interpretation. It's kind of touching, some of the things that they've chosen to focus on. And so I can't wait to look. But it also looks like it does a section on Frances Hodgson Burnett. Because I was like, did she go through this as a child? Because, a lot of times you see these... it's so heavy, I'm going to have to put it down a minute. And also I know something fell out. I want to see what it is. Is this really her story? A lot of actors and actresses do that. Okay, so it obviously comes with the art catalog, Volume 1, The Secret Garden. And it looks like it's showing... Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is Dickon, is his name. And he's a little poor boy in the region that meets this little girl. And they deal with the garden together, the secret garden that she finds. And these are all the animals that he's friends with. A raven... in one of them, is it the first one? It is a red-breasted bluebird. And the second one, it's I think of the same period but different actresses because they, a couple of different people interpreted it and made it into a movie. It's a raven, and so that's this picture. I'd have to check the book to see which one it actually is. But there's a fox, a lamb. This one has a deer. I don't remember seeing a deer in the movies in either one. But oh gosh, the pictures. So these must be the pictures that they've inserted into the book, and they're the different artists who did them. And yeah, because that one's a bluebird. The door looks like just an old door, whereas here it makes it very gothic with vines growing on, carved in the wood. That's not that in either one of the movies. This is a little bit too much. It says never alone. It's got this little girl, but she's got a snake. She didn't have a snake in there. And that's kind of weird, like she's friends with the snake. But what it lets you know is that she's alone and that her parents forgot her. They did not take care of her. They did not make for what if something happened to them. So she literally was left alone to die in her house, had the British not come in and started searching the neighborhoods to make sure everybody was okay. But this is a very interesting one too. It has a African American as Mary and as looks like Dickon. The movie, it does not. So I mean, that's just interesting. I will say that the little girl is from India, so it's interesting. Is he supposed to be Indian then? How they chose to depict their art. That's what it is. This is interesting. So the little boy, remember, was told he couldn't walk, so they've got a wheelchair with all the flowers growing on it, and that's his secret garden. Again, that's a cute take on it, but no, that is not the garden. It's an actual garden, and he ends up getting out of the wheelchair because he didn't actually need it. The only reason he had needed it is atrophy of his muscles because he had not been using them. They had him on leg braces when he didn't need them. And it's just sad that his father, the reason his father is so bad, his father was devastated when he lost his wife. And he just almost commits suicide, but instead he just lives dead. I mean, and so he projects that onto his son. So it's a tragedy because he actually does love his son. He's not ashamed of him. He just thinks the same thing's going to happen to him as a coping tool or something. It's just it's a tough story. But in the end, I will say that this one depicts it. What you think is going to be this dark garden was because after the mother dies in the garden, and but she's able to deliver her son first, and then she dies. So he projects the hate of the death onto the son. He hates the garden, so he locks it up and buries the key, and the garden dies. But the mother wouldn't have wanted that because she loved that garden. They did it together, and that was their romantic place. They would go every day and have tea down from their mansion. And in the end, the children bring it back to life. So I'm just totally spoiling it for you so that you will go ahead and watch it because it's good. The new modern depictions from our age of actors, I don't think it's as good. I don't. I think there is something to having the old film, the black and white. There's, in the second one, the black and white actually, it's sort of like the Wizard of Oz, where they had gotten Technicolor by then. And so they filmed the first part of it all in black and white, and then when they get into the garden, it's all filmed in color. So that's interesting. Anyway, I thought I'd share that with y'all. It was very expensive to get this book. It was probably very stupid of me to do it, to be honest with you. And then this is a care and keeping, recycled paper, vegan leather, ethical creation, and I'm sure that they're very honoring to all of their writers and artists that put their spin on the pictures of what this would be, because obviously in the book that you get, like the book that I have, it does have a couple little sketched pictures in it. But back then, it was less about what it looks like and more about what, when you read a book, what it looks like in your mind. And that's why some people say the book was better than the movie, because sometimes your own imagination of something is much richer than someone else's depiction of it in your mind. So not saying there's, bad directors and producers and actors and actresses. It's just we all have our own mind on what things look like. And then when we see it done by some sort of play or actor, it takes on a whole new look. It's not what you were thinking. So it is good to read books. Activate your own imagination. Also, to keep your reading skills and comprehension skills up. Very important to read books, not just on the computer, not just on a phone. I would even say not even on a tablet, just an actual physical book. Pick up a book and read the book. I feel that way about the Bible. Obviously, when I go to church, because nowadays church services are timed they didn't used to be. If they ran over, pastors didn't worry about it because people weren't rushing to get out to go watch a ball game or something. So now they are so timed, and there's so much more of a program that you try to bring an actual physical Bible, and when they say, in John 3:16, it says, by the time you flip there, they're off the subject and on to something else. So that's why a lot of people do use the Bible app on their phone, because they can find it quickly, or either they just take notes on their phone. So now pastors need to not be offended when they see somebody on their phone, because they're taking notes on their phone. They usually do offer, a program, but most people don't bring in a pen or tablet. So, or, little notebook. Some people do. Some people still do that. Anyway, that's it. That's all I have. How much time do we have? I'm just under. I'll talk to y'all again soon. Bye!